This is an anti-hate video response to Tony 8 Jesus' video response to Reptilian God interviewed on the 18th of July 2008. In this video, the individual claims to have been following videos from the Desteni website and happened upon one which upset him. So the first thing I have to ask is, Tony, if you had been watching the videos for months, how did you not realize what Desteni is about? Obviously, there was something interesting in you since you spent such a significant amount of time watching the videos. But what kind of blinders did you have on to not hear the information and then look at yourself and realize that something other than yourself is pulling the strings in your life? Or to ask why, in the history of mankind, of all the brilliant intellectuals in the world, has no one been able to stop the downward spiral we are currently in? Or has no one been able to look at the history and learn from it, but instead allow it to repeat itself, violent and bloody, over and over again? I've come to a conclusion which is based on 3 facts. 1, you didn't hear the message, but instead got caught up in one small fraction of what this group is saying. 2, you became upset by one video which caused you to, all of a sudden, after months of watching, react in mockery and judgment. And the third is that you label yourself as an intellectual who knows better, or who knows the real story. These 3 facts lead me to conclude that you were not watching the videos to hear what they had to say, but rather to reconfirm and strengthen your own knowledge and understanding of this kind of history. And after months of this, you happened upon a video that didn't go along with what you have claimed as the truth, or your truth, and so you turned nasty, judgmental, and superior. You call Desteni fucking pathetic, fucking ridiculous, and you use descriptive words like stupid and crap. Are these the words of an intellectual, as you claim yourself to be? You sit so high up with your intellectual group of friends laughing at the rest of us, yet you are not above name-calling and generalization. Isn't that the behavior of the ignorant? Would an intellectual perform belittling impressions in silly voices as you have done in your video? What happened to standing at a distance, safe from your own personal bias and constructed worldview in order to objectively study information? And how come, when you deemed this information as stupid and pathetic, did you not simply disregard it and move on, but instead took the time to try to diminish it? Instead, you diminished yourself in your video, because you showed us that you are not able to objectively hear something, but instead are remaining within your biases and clinging to your constructed identity. Seriously, Tony, would a true intellectual take the time to make a video calling something stupid and pathetic? And what is intelligence anyway? Is it something to be used in order to make you feel important, like you are above the rest, and have the right to use your apparent knowledge to attempt to belittle another? Or is that the behavior of the insecure? The history of the Anunnaki and the Sumerians is interesting, yes, but it's really irrelevant beyond the point of helping us understand who we really are and why we are the way we are. It's not to argue and debate about who has the right story and who knows more, but instead to take knowledge and information and use it to actually change the disaster that humanity has become. If you really are someone who knows more, then why haven't you proposed a solution? Why haven't you banded together with all the intellectuals of the world to figure out a way to help the victims of human greed, or to demonstrate what it is to be a compassionate and considerate human being? But instead you have used all your superior knowledge to belittle a group you've deemed as pathetic. How is that furthering humanity? You can spend your whole life calling out all the fakes, liars, and deceivers in the world, but if you don't propose an alternative or a solution, what will you achieve aside from your own perceived superiority? At Desteni, we do not claim superiority, but rather a oneness and an equality to all that is here, good and bad. We realize that as individuals, we have lived out our lives supporting a system that creates unbelievable suffering for some and extreme wealth for others. We realize we have abdicated our responsibility to elected officials who have proven nothing but repeating cycles of self-interest, fear, war, terror, and destruction, or religions that value the hereafter more than what's here, and personal enlightenment above the good of all. At Destiny, we're not waiting for anyone to save us. We realize that religion, politics, and all the intellectuals in the world have failed to honor life, and we're not going to wait any longer, within the belief that maybe next time it will be different or better, maybe next year, maybe the next president, prime minister, pope, king, or prophet will finally save the world. No, the group called Destiny is a group of individuals who are collectively stating, till here no further, this cannot continue. It does not take a degree or a wealth of knowledge to understand that we're in one hell of a mess, or to realize that each form of life is as worthy as the next and deserving of dignity and respect. Tony, if you are an intellectual, then you are part of the elite. If you could afford to educate yourself in this world, then you have the power. You have power unimaginable to those who never get to learn to read or write. What will you do with this power? Just because you were born into a situation that afforded you an education and the wealth to be in good health and fed daily does not put you above anybody, but rather gives you the responsibility to stand up and speak the words that need to be said for those who cannot say them. To do this requires one to be able to stand in the face of hate, anger, ridicule, and judgment. Do you have that kind of will? Or do you fall in the face of these resistances and instead become one of them? At Destiny, we are proposing a solution, one that is attainable, one that includes everyone, no matter what their level of education. And we're actually taking steps towards getting it done. A lot of what we do involves getting people to realize the actuality of our situation here. And this is a huge hurdle because people get angry, defensive, hateful, and reactive, as if it were a personal attack. But it's not. We're all in this together. We all messed it up, and we all need to stop, realize, and change. Realize, for example, that knowledge can be used as a weapon to belittle others, or a crutch to lift oneself up. That knowledge without practical application is useless, and that most knowledge and information is born and nurtured in an education system that trains young minds to be productive members of society, supporting the status quo of inequality and self-interest. Anyone who benefits from this system will fear losing it because they depend on it for their survival. God forbid a wealthy person be forced to sell their child into the sex trade so that their family can survive. No, they are above that, yet at the same time supporting a system that creates it. It's time to let go of the fear. For their sake, please wake up and check out what we are proposing at www.equalmoney.org.